This is the Lean Builders Hoots on the Ground podcast with absolutely, positively no bullshito. Join us as we dig into exactly what lean construction is and how we can use these concepts and strategies in the field. This podcast will be different as we journey to job sites and mine the minds of lean builders, all in effort to pass forward building knowledge from those who have put their time in to learn a better way. Because that's just what lean builders do. What's up, y'all? Adam Hoots here, the Lean Builder, Hoots on the Ground podcast with no bullshito. And today, my guest does not need an introduction. Mr. Ray Terry, tell us who you are, baby.
Adam, first of all, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it because my passion is to spread the word about what's going on from my perspective anyway in Charlotte. And I have to say this, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I can only speak in this conversation today about the topic at hand about Charlotte, North Carolina, because I was born and raised here. I went to school here. I am not a college graduate. I graduated from Garinger High School here in the Charlotte metro area in 1970. And do the math, that's 52 years ago. Okay. And I'm 71 going on 40. Okay. My whole career has been in and around the trades, construction, residential predominantly. Yeah, I've delved in some commercial along the way with the electrical trade and various other things. I'm actually a residential remodeler under the banner of NARI's Certified Remodeler Program back in the mid-90s. I did that program. And so I've got a deep, in-depth background with construction. And also talking about my career, I became, in 1990, we started the chapter of NARI, the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, here in Charlotte in 1990. And I was the first president of that association. And at that time, that's really the time my professional career exploded. June of the next year, I started radio, my career in radio, the home improvement show here in Charlotte, North Carolina on WBTAM, the powerhouse. And at that time, I really got involved. I had a remodeling company. We were a design build firm, did kitchens and bathrooms predominantly. I've done room additions, built houses. And going back to my Garinger high school days, I took drafting in my initial career, my initial goal was to be an architect. I'm an ADHD kid, okay, still today. And I did not like classroom school at all. If you wanted to engage me and let me do something, create something, that was cool. But at school, you didn't get to do that, not here in Charlotte. No, the creativity was slowly but surely taken out of the school system. And I went to work. I graduated from high school on a Wednesday, and I think our graduation was over about lunchtime. I had a job to be at 2:00 that afternoon, and I hadn't stopped. I've been a mechanic. I've done electrical. I've done plumbing. I've done HVAC. I've done carpentry. Matter of fact, some call me a master carpenter. I've run a cabinet shop. I've done a lot of stuff. Worked with a lot of people and listened to a lot of people talk. And I will emphasize that in a great way. But that's who I am. And here I am. I consider myself today to be an ambassador of a career pathway that needs to be re-identified with the youth of today and pursued in the way it was when I was a teenager or an adolescent, you might say. Because my father was blue collar. He was an electrician. My whole life, my father was an electrician. So I was around that trade just growing up. And been shocked quite a few times in my life, but I had a great interest for the electrical, still do today. I love electrical work. So as a matter of fact, I've got to go troubleshoot 2 jobs this afternoon for homeowners.
You listed a lot of trades. Which one is your favorite?
I don't really have a favorite, Adam. I wish I was a mechanic too. I love cars, building cars. I went to the Army. Joined the National Guard when I was 18 because I wanted to serve my country. But to be quite honest, I did not want to go to Vietnam. So I dodged that by joining the National Guard, Army National Guard. And I went to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training. And 2 MOSs, I was a wheel vehicle mechanic, which I graduated honor student in. And I was a track vehicle mechanic, which I was third in the class of 250. Now, I'm only telling you that not from my ego. I'm just telling you that's how much I enjoyed working with my hands. And that kind of is the reason that I do what I do today with Put Tools in Schools, okay? Because I realize these kids are getting a lousy education, actually, a lousy exposure to reality and what life is truly about. And I see it. I've seen it for many years. When I joined, like I said, when we started in the area, I got involved with the community college here, Central Piedmont Community College. And I've attended, oh my goodness, how many meetings through the years. I was on the advisory board in the Institute of Construction Technology, the Harper campus here in Charlotte. And so I've been to a lot of meetings and discussed this labor shortage we've got now, many years, like 30 years. And we talked about it coming. And now even today, people say, oh, it's going to be bad. No, it is bad. Amen. It's here. The landslides happened. We're suffering the ramifications.
And trades are clearly a passion of yours, right? I can just feel the excitement building up. You mentioned creativity has been taken out of schools. Tell us more about what you're doing to fix that.
These kids are totally unaware. And I said totally. That's all encompassing too much, I think. But 90%, and all right, let's take this year, Adam, if I may, because this exemplifies what we're doing. Yeah. Put Tools in Schools is an event that engages. The whole idea behind it, whole purpose, goal is to engage high schools, not high school, this year high school, down the road, middle school, elementary schools, awareness, elevate awareness to the career pathways. And now I say the trades, but before I go any further, I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I know there's a tremendous labor shortage, known it for years. And talked about it for years. But that's not my directive. My directive is for the kids, for the students of today that aren't happy. They're not happy, pressured, they're stressed because they think that the only way they're going to have anything in life and be any kind of success at all is to go to college and get a degree. But our culture of today in the past 30 years has pushed college on all kids, like it's the norm. And it should not be that way. And it's been proven. Harvard's done a study, MIT, Georgetown, all of them have done studies on this. And there's a tremendous problem with our kids and their pathways. They're killing themselves at an unprecedented rate. Suicide's never been higher. And these kids aren't happy. I've been in 10 high schools this year, 10 high schools in Charlotte Mecklenburg, 10 high schools this year alone in this school.
Amen. That's awesome. That's making a difference right there.
And there's 33 schools in the Charlotte metro system, 33 high schools. So we've been approximately a third of it. That's not bad. Amen. We've addressed over 4,000 to 5,000 kids. Dang. We've exposed them to this. Now, not all kids get involved, get engaged. Some of them act like it's a recess and we're in a room and it's all good. I understand that because the trades isn't for everyone. But I'll tell you this, the trades isn't what I'm after. I'm after creativity. Because, see, we were born animals, human beings in the animal kingdom. Like it or not, we're mammals, right? That's the reality in science and all this stuff. We have 2 hands. We're born naked, no clothes, no. A great mind, 2 hands, and 2 feet for mobility. And our sole purpose in this life was to use your hands and your mind to exist and help each other coexist in the culture we live, okay? We don't do that anymore. We don't do it. Creativity has been taken out of schools. Art, all the trades. Now, there are some automotive programs in Charlotte. About 4 to 5 schools have automotive programs. There's hardly any carpentry. There's 3 or 4 schools that have a basic carpentry program. That's it. And I've been in every CDC's office, career development coordinator, in those 10 high schools. And when I go in their office, the majority of what I see are college banners. And then you ask kids why they're going to be an engineer, and you go to the root of it. My career counselor told me with my test grades and all, I fit this profile. Is that a way to treat a career? In other words, there's 3 buckets on the floor, and they're labeled. and these CDCs are throwing the kids in the buckets. That's crazy. And if I might say, that's total bullshit. Pardon my French, Adam.
You're good. It's bullshit.
But I'm sorry. This is wrong. These kids are being herded. And that's wrong. These kids, let me continue with the question. All right, they're all going to college, a majority. And I tell them the fact that if you're not sure of what you're going to do the rest of your life after you get that almighty degree, then don't go to college, because you're wasting your time, your money. You get no return on your investment, and it's crazy. But if you for sure know what gives you what you really want, notice what you really want, that's not identified yet. Then I said, and by the way, what is that? What's the number one thing we all want in life? Now, these are high school students I'm asking, okay? The overwhelming first response and answer, money.
Money.
Money. And I say emphatically, no. Success, no. We all want it. I got it. I got it. You want it. You want it. Your teacher wants it. What is it? It's happy. We don't teach that, Adam. Happy. You want to be happy. What do you want for your kids, Adam, in life? You got two beautiful children. I've met them. Isn't it two? There is two, right?
I got two beautiful ones. My son's not so beautiful, but he smells bad.
Okay. But the point is, what do you want for those three kids of yours?
Yeah.
You want them to be happy.
Absolutely.
And now how do you find you're happy? Now, here's where we failed our children miserably. We as parents think we know best for our kids. Wrong. Wrong. Your kid knows what your kid needs to be happy. But you got to find it out. That's your responsibility as a parent.
How do you do that, Ray?
You make sure they're exposed to life and reality. Not yours, theirs. Their life, their reality. I've been in many houses with being a remodeler and had this discussion through the years. This isn't a new task for me, by the way. I've been doing this for many years in homes with families. Then I say, let me go back and say, how do you find you're happy? How do you find you're happy? Anybody, how do you find it? You got to find your purpose, your passion. Now, how do we expose kids to purpose and passion? We show them life examples, like working with your hands, working with tools, creativity, art, music. I was in the band in Carringer High School, marching band. I played tuba. I love music. Music's a gateway to your soul. They're trying to take it out of schools. Music is math. Music is incredibly math-oriented. Okay. So you got to find your happy, your purpose.
Your IKIGAI.
What's that?
Your
IKIGAI. Exactly, Adam. Thank you for that as well. Amen. IKIGAI. You got to find your IKIGAI. Okay, once you find your IKIGAI, and you have one more thing. One more thing, Adam. What is that? And you provide that for your kids. Love.
Care.
Love. You got love in your life. You got passion and purpose. You will find you're happy. And you know what comes with happy? Money. We're not teaching that. That's a basic theme of life, but we have lost it. I went to a gathering, Christmas gathering, Saturday night, this past, and I asked the whole crowd there, that mostly adults, what do you want for your kids? Same answer, success. Success. What is success? What in today's world, what is success? It's knowing what you love and expressing that. Now, with Put Tools in Schools, we get 7 to 15 companies. Show up at a high school at 8 o'clock in the morning. We set up the rules. You must engage the kids. No talking heads. No talking heads. They're all talking, but you must engage the kids. Be it electrical, be it HVAC, be it plumbing, we have a welding simulator that comes.
Yeah, tell me what kind of things you're talking about when you say, because you're not talking about a career fair where I'm just telling you what I do. I'm actually showing you what I'm doing. Tell me about some of the things, the activities the kids are getting into.
My first concern, and I'm going to tell you, was to have each trade, electrical, plumbing, they show up and they bend pipe, EMT. They check circuitry in electrical, and they show all the instruments, the tools, all the tools of the trade. HVAC, they test for air conditioning leaks. Plumbing, precision plumbing here in Charlotte, DR Plumbing came and engaged the kids with soldering, copper. The kids did it.
That sounds
And
dangerous.
it's been great. And man, the kids just light up. And you can see, and they drill screws and the tool engagements we can get. And frankly, with each event, the companies learn as well because they're not used to coming and engaging kids. Some companies have no idea what to do. And that's okay. Just the attempt, showing up, learning, that's beautiful. Just beautiful. Now, here's the problem. And it's become a problem. There's several problems we're going to talk about, if I may. One is industry going to show up? See, another thing I've noticed about all that, everybody's quick to write a check, especially in Charlotte, North Carolina. They want to support you. So let's give you some money. This is not about money. This is free. The only investment you're going to make is the time for your employees to show up and engage those kids. That's it. And I'll even feed you. It's okay. Just show up. So you show up and engage the kids. We're there from 8 till around 1:30 in the afternoon because the final bells ring at 2:15, and I don't want to be near the school at 2:15 because it's mass havoc and chaos with the school buses. And I understand that. That's okay. And we normally get out of there before last bell rings. Okay. But we engage those kids all day. And my thing is, this just happened. Here's another problem. Charlotte, North Carolina is a very, very wealthy city, probably one of the most wealthy in the country. And I would say it's number one, but we're not going to talk about that. And you can't find that fact on the internet anywhere.
Well, it's the banking capital of the United States, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
A lot of money in Charlotte. Remember, I was born and raised here, and I worked. I love their checks. Okay. Okay. South Charlotte is the cash cow for college. Is a unbelievable cash cow for college. And we went to a high school in South Charlotte. Just our directive, we had a date set for December 13th, I believe it was. A week before, I wanted to go to the school, and I went in and met the CDC there, career development coordinator. And she said, we've got to go down to the automotive class because they want our principal suggested we have this event in the automotive shop. Immediately in my mind said, that ain't going to work. But okay, shut up, Ray. Just go and pay attention. So I go in, she walks me. One, we go out of the main school out to an amenity building, which is that they got to walk through and outside and through the weather and all, which that's not the optimum scenario. Okay, anyway, so I keep walking. I meet the automotive teacher, and he takes me out to the automotive shop where there's 2 car lifts, motor engines everywhere, parts, a 4-wheeler, and all this other stuff. And I said, this ain't going to work. This will not work. They said, well, why not? I said, if you get 5 to 10 companies in this space here with students, how many students are in this school? 2,000. How many can we see a day? Here's where it gets tricky. The CTE students, we just were going to have our CTE students. I said, oh, heck. I just said, hell no. No way. No way. What you're doing is putting buckets in the floor, and you're only allowing or going to have the CTE students come in here? No. I want to see as many students as humanly possible in one given day. Out of that 2,000, I'd like to see at least 1,000. Because here's the fact. I don't care how academically gifted your kid is, your child is. These are life skills that every student should be exposed to. You might be surprised at the brainiacs that would love the trades. Love it. Love it. And I'll give you an example. In my travels, you meet a lot of young, talented students turned adults, young adults in the trades. And I met a young lady with IBEW, an electrical union here in town, 379. She was at one of these events. Beautiful young lady, smile from ear to ear, just happy, unbelievable. I met her, name's Kayla, and I'll leave it at that. And she's been on the radio show since because her story was phenomenal. Her story was simple. She went to high school. She was an honor student, made excellent grades, loved studying, great kid, academically somewhat gifted, okay? So they said, you ought to go to pre-med, be a doctor. She said, what the heck? I'm going to go be a doctor. Let's go for broke. Everybody got excited. She was admitted to college and got in college and everything. Well, guess what? College ain't high school. And Miss Kayla flunked out. Under the pressure of her family and everybody rooted for, oh, you can do this. You can do this. You can do it. See, when she flunked out, literally, she tried to take her life. She tried to commit suicide because of the pressures, the social pressures, and all the experiences she's had getting there. She felt like she was a failure. Okay. She's proceeded to live her life, recovered from that. And by circumstance, she got in touch with an electrical union, went to their apprenticeship program. Now she is a journeyman electrician and loves it. This girl loves it. There's your example, one of many. Your grades don't direct your happy. They don't influence your happy. You do. And we need to show our kids those pathways for creativity. When they're coming through the program, I ask them this question. How many have ever heard the word apprenticeship? Adam, you would be appalled. Absolutely blown away. Charlotte, North Carolina kids, the vast majority, I would put it up around, I'm going to be conservative and say 80, 85%, have no idea what an apprenticeship is. The image we have is very bad. And when I was coming up through the years in my professional career, I would visit high schools from time to time. I would help, whatever. I had an opportunity at Butler High School here in Charlotte. One of the class got there very late, and we had dismantled and gone away, basically. But I took the opportunity to ask them questions and have dialogue. Because when I'm that 2 to 3 minutes up front or 5 minutes before they come in the programs, I don't really have dialogue, or we have an exchange of information. I took the opportunity to have some dialogue. And one young lady, she said, I'm going to better myself by going to college. Where did you learn that? Who taught you that? I'm going to better myself. You're not bettering yourself by going to college. You better yourself bettering yourself.
So I want to be careful here because you can better yourself by going to college.
You can better yourself by going to anything you have a passion for.
Yeah, amen. And so I want to stick to that message of find your happy, because you may or may not know this. I'm going back to school right now. I do feel like there's a place for academia. I do feel like the world has misguided folks way too much in the direction of academia without asking them the right questions and finding what you're talking about, your passion, your happy. And I think we need to do something about it. But I do feel like there is a place for school, for academia, to really drive cutting edge research. And again, when you find you're happy, I think it's important that you give back through those channels.
Adam, to hear me, it sounds like I'm all down on college. No, I'm not. Not at all. Now, you're in an area where academia is prevalent in a big way, with Clemson down there and all the surrounding. And I know I pay attention, Adam. I see all LinkedIn and everything else, and I'm watching the whole arena. You adults, you older, you younger, you middle-aged, all the people. I'm 71. I'm an ambassador, old. I'm one of those dying breed that are leaving. Okay, another 10 years, you won't hear from Ray Terry anymore.
It makes me sad, man.
It is. It's a reality that schools can't find instructors. Schools can't find leaders. There's no more leadership. And this put tools in schools ties into the leadership role. We need to teach young kids. And fear is very prevalent with these students. They're afraid of failing.
You just hit on a huge point with the leadership side of things. And I don't know if you've seen Miss Patty Steffen with NCCER. They're putting together a new course on how to teach these leadership skills, especially for transitioning trade workers to superintendents.
Sure.
I would love to introduce you. She's looking for subject matter experts right now, and I think you would be a huge addition to her roster.
Speaking of leadership, I go back in my life, and I don't want to make this about me, but I have to use
I
me.
do. That's what the whole point is, Mr. Ray. It's all about.
When I joined the National Guard, you go to basic training, and you're in the Army, okay? I was 4 squad leader from day 2. So I fell right into a leadership role. I've always been a leader, always.
I don't know that you fell into that leadership role. I'm pretty sure you had something to do with that. obtaining that role?
I've always been a doer
Yep.
and fearless because I don't play by all the rules because I don't like the rules. And I
Amen.
don't. And I'll be straight up. And it's gotten me in trouble a time or two in my life.
That's why I gravitate to you, I think. Yeah.
But I don't like all the rules. I'm not saying that I'm exempt. I'm not. We all have to suffer our consequences. But some of them are ridiculous. And these schools are like prisons. And I know because I've been in enough of them. And I understand the safety and don't want to get into all that. Okay. But look, kids' safety is what I'm all about. Their lives, their happiness, their well-being. I love kids and I enjoy them. But we've got big issues right now that we need to work on. And that's putting tools back in schools, getting these career pathways and opportunities in front of kids, students. And we need to go in elementary schools. And we've got a program where we're going to work on down the road where we buy trailers, 6x12 tandem trailers. And we stock them with 6 to 10 projects. And we teach parents, bring the parents and fathers into the fold and let them go into the elementary schools to teach and raise awareness to 4th and 5th grade. These plans are on the table. And all this really started in 2018 as an awareness campaign because I got tired of meetings. All they did was talk. So I left a meeting one day and said, I'm going to do something. I don't know what yet, but it'll happen. And Put Tools in Schools has grown organically. And it's got a lot of holes in the boat, meaning we've got a lot of areas to take care of, such as the website, such as we're a nonprofit now, certified nonprofit.
Good job. Heck yeah.
So we can get donations. Donations for what? Whatever we need, the trailers, a truck, various things. And we're developing a budget for 2023, a business plan, and we're going forward. So all these things are happening, but organically, basically. The board of directors developing and all that. You know what I'm talking about. And frankly, I'm just a mouthpiece. My name will not be on any of the paperwork. It's not required. I don't want to be in this at all. I want to leave it to go on. That's my goal. And we've got to change these kids' lives. We've got to put happy back into. And even young adults, if you're less than 40 years old, to me, you're a kid. That's right, Adam. You're a child that's grown up to be an adult in this world we live in America, and you're part of the problem because you've been taught that. And no offense and no disrespect by saying that, but it's a fact. When you get parents looking at their kids saying, no, you're going to go and you're going to get that degree. And my simple question is, for what? What's the degree for? Is it their passion? See, we've lost that happy and passion, the IKIGAI. We're not finding that. I think education and academia, as we call it, is very important. Yeah. I don't doubt that. But it's got to be directed to the end goal of what? Happiness and love. Because when you're able to do work for people, you're spreading love. And the money, if you're doing everything you're doing over money, you're screwing up right out of the gate. So
it's all about happiness, baby. I love your message. I love what you're saying. I want to hear more about your happy, right? I want to hear more about your coming up in the trades. I want to hear what's a good story that you remember from back in the day as you were building or out on job sites and doing your thing. Give me and it doesn't have to be PG rated, but it can't be too wild.
My excitement was always doing the job well. Yesterday, great example. I'm still working. I put range hoods in, ventilation, kitchen ventilation.
Okay.
Why? Because HVAC are lousy at it. Okay. You know, when you need a 6-inch hole and they cut an 8-inch hole to put a 6-inch pipe in, that's crazy. Why not do a 6 and an 8, 6 and a quarter inch hole to put a 6-inch pipe through where it's tight and you caulk around it and seal it? We don't do that. We put tin around it, plug it.
You gotta have some room to move it, to jiggle it, right?
No.
Like when an electrician cuts into drywall.
Or plaster or whatever. It's got to fit. Okay. And I do that through custom cabinetry and everything. Here's a story I'll tell. Good story.
All right.
I was called to put a vent in a kitchen. This is probably 5-10 years ago. And I went over there and this was a multi-million-dollar home. Kitchen was high rent. Oh, it's high above. These cabinets were very expensive cabinets. Finished, I think they were finished cherry or something. They were really nice cabinets, okay. Brand new kitchen, brand new. He says, I had a window of opportunity to go out through a soffit, just one window of opportunity of about 12 inches by 4 inches. That was it. And then I had to go through the top, very top, inside the cabinets to run a 3 1/4 by 10 piece of duct. And when I went to see this job, the carpenter, the main carpenter, lead carpenter, was out to lunch. And I saw his tools. And all his tools were Milwaukee, good tools. So I said, oh, we got a good carpenter in this job. And she said, well, how do you know that? I said, by his tools. I can tell what kind of carpenter he is by the tools he carries. And sure enough, he comes back, a middle-aged older fella. And we talked over what I was going to do. He said, okay. I walked in with a Sawzall with a awesome cutter blade on it. And I had to drill and cut a 3 1/2 by 10 1/2 hole at the very top inside of all these cabinets, go into the wall from the range cabinet. Okay.
Yep.
And he looked at me like I was crazy. I said, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to. And he just let me go. And at the very end of the job, and I admit, there ain't many people going to go in there and do what I did to start with, or have the knowledge or experience to do what I did. So I did it, and it was perfect. It looked good and everything. And then I turned it on, and he says, Ray, I'm going to have to be honest with you here. Man, when you walked in with that Sawzall and you were attacking my $65,000 cabinets, I like to went nuts inside. But I trusted you because you came highly recommended. And by dang, you did a great job. You did absolutely incredible.
Nice.
And you can't even tell it's there. I said, that's what I do. And yesterday I went and did a vent hood replacement for a resident. And we went in there and I had to take one down and put a new one up. And I had to plunge cut, crown mold, and 3-piece crown and all this stuff for it to fit perfectly. But now here's the bonus to all this. I get paid damn good for that.
Yeah, you do. I bet you do.
And I can do it by myself 90% of the time. And it's fun. I enjoy it. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I enjoy it.
It makes you happy.
I'm a happy boy. And that's what makes me happy in my career. The greatest time, the hardest part of any job, remodeling job, is the very end. Yeah. Full of details, all the things you didn't do along the way. And through the years, I learned finish as you go. Because if you practice that, finish as you go, you don't have as many problems at the end of the job.
Sure, it's a part of the production laws, right? That's
Should be.
Yeah, there's
because being ADHD, some of my lead men were all, and if they did a study today, they'd probably find that 80 to 90% of all the workers in construction are ADHD people. And that would be a fact, because I could go on many stories about that. But anyway, I would go in and we'd put recessed cans in a kitchen, and there might be 7. And I go in there and there's all 6 of them are in, but there's one without. I said, what's with the hole that don't have a light? I was going to get that when I come back. Oh, hell no, you're not. You're going to get it right now. I want it done. I want it finished. And everything should be done in a system. You finish as you go.
Yeah, you work in small batches, you limit your work in progress, and you finish as you go. Amen.
Absolutely.
That's Little's Law is what that's called.
And it works very well.
Amen.
And ADHD people don't get that. And you can literally tell who they are by what they do on a job. I find it very amusing. Another story I'll share. I hired this handyman to do some work for us on a property. This lady, she was a hoarder. And her house was full of stuff. We got rid of all the stuff. We went in there to do all the repairs, and I hired this handyman. And I went over there to check him out one day, stopped, and he had 4 situations partially done in that house. And I went around and I started laughing, went in the kitchen where he was working. I laughed and I said, have you ever been diagnosed with ADHD? And he says, no. And I said, you just were. You just right now are diagnosed with ADHD. He looked at me real strange. He says, what do you mean? And I explained it to him, and he kind of shrugged it off, but I could tell it really bothered him. Come back the next day, and he says, Ray, can we talk a minute? I said, absolutely. He said, when you told me I was ADHD yesterday, it really affected me because of my grandson in school, because he has got a real ADHD problem. I said, gets it honest. Jokingly. I said, Carl was his name. I said, Carl, it's a gift. It's truly a gift. You just know you need to learn to discipline yourself with it. But it's a great gift. It's a talent and a gift that God gave you that you can utilize and be twice as effective as most people when you learn how to discipline yourself. Yeah. And I said, and your grandson's got issues. Yes. If you get in touch with yours, you'll be able to help him. 2 weeks later, he called me and thanked me. He said, Ray, I really appreciate it. At first, I was really upset when you told me I was ADHD because I thought there was something wrong with me. But now it taught me to relate to my grandson. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong is our educational system. And I'm going to get into that a little bit because they're giving our kids drugs, pharmaceutical, psychoactive drugs, antidepressants, Zoloft, all these pills. That drives me crazy. That's insanity. And I know firsthand in radio, I've got a board op we're teaching right now because he can't find it. He graduated with a communications degree, never been in a studio. So I'm helping him by exposing him to radio broadcasting. He's on 2 drugs, has been since 10 years old. Why? Because he was ADHD and had problems. He couldn't focus. The problem was the school couldn't adapt to his way of learning. And there we go. There's another problem in our education system. Giving these kids drugs is horrible, horrible. You're setting them up for a life of pharmaceuticals that completely be avoided.
For the record, we're not a doctor show, and this is not medical advice by any means.
Yeah, it is. From right here, it is.
No, it's not.
You can do your disclaimers all you want, Adam. But let me tell you something.
Dr. Ray Terry.
I'm 70 years old, and I've earned the right not to give a damn.
Amen.
Because these kids are at stake. I will not use a disclaimer. I had a medical doctor on my radio show Saturday, and we've discussed this openly. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm a human being, and here's a big problem I have. I'm intelligent.
Yeah.
I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that. And nor do you. If you're smart, use it. We're all born intelligent geniuses. All we have to do is tap into it. And by the way, I give every kid I see that message. Everybody I'm looking at right now is a genius. Every one of those children are a genius. You just got to find it and tap into it. That's it.
And so you do this a lot, right? You speak a lot and every Saturday morning, right, on the radio. Yeah. What's something that people don't know about you, Ray?
They don't know how emotional I am and how sensitive I am.
Good night. I think they just found out.
Most people have no clue that I cry 3 or 4 times a week because of people, for sadness, for our culture, for our kids that are lost, for our kids that can't eat. They don't know where they're going to sleep that night. There's a big problem with this, and we're just not addressing it, and everybody's kind of putting it under the rug. I see it firsthand. And I talk to teachers as well because I want teachers' input. I give my message, but then again, I go to teachers and said, what do you think of my message? 95% love it. They'll even come find me if I'm not out there. They'll come look me up before they bring their kids in. But there's a few teachers who totally disagree with it, and I understand that. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. Matter of fact, I probably piss more people off than you could count, and that's okay. But I do it out of love. See, I got this thing that I've learned. If I do what I do out of love, I'm not doing it to be right. I'm not doing it I just want to do the right thing. It's not about being right. It's doing the right thing out of love and care for my fellow man. And that's what I do. And I'm very emotional. I'm very sensitive. And I love to love. And I know that might sound crazy, but in my younger years out, this is a lot of people that know me know this. I was very explosive, very reactionary. I would get frustrated
a little bit.
I've thrown a hammer through 3 walls.
Holy
God. I was pissed. But that's explosive reaction that's totally unnecessary. And today I tell most men, the worst thing we do as humans is react. Because every time you react, and you're no different, everybody's the same. When we react, we typically have damage control. Yeah. We have to go back and repair whatever we did or said. So Anyway, and I don't react anymore. I sit down and think about how can I turn this into love and care? And we're quick to react in this culture we live, and it's really not doing us any good at all. So,
How do you
uh,
stop that initial reaction, though? That's something that's hard to control, isn't it?
oh, it is very hard to control. It takes discipline. It takes love. Oh, I can give you many examples of where lately, within the last 2, 3 years of my life, if I hadn't done that, I'd probably be in jail
Huh.
because I get mad. I don't like bullies. I don't like to be bullied. And that to me is I don't like bullies. And I don't like to be intimidated or anyone trying to. But that's just me, okay? But I just love people and want to do the best I can do and be the best version of me I can be.
Speaking of loving people, let's shout out some folks who are doing it right, either in the Charlotte Mecklenburg area or maybe through your life, the folks that have really had an impact on you. I know Michael Reelon is
Oh,
one that
great guy.
comes to mind. In fact, he introduced us to.
Let me share this with you. I was at Palisades High School here in Charlotte, which Michael now is at. He used to be at Olympic. This is the first year of Palisades High School.
Yep.
Went down and did a trades career day down there. That was an experimental event because we did it in the cafeteria. He didn't direct the teachers to attend or tell them to attend, and they didn't bring the kids, which was a gauge of something. But regardless, it still went well because we were in the cafeteria. But anyway, I met Michael and we talked and had a great day there. The week before, on the radio show, I announced that I would be at Palisades with Michael Reelon. One of my listeners is a retired school principal here in Charlotte of 17 years. And he says, I'm going to go meet this guy. So he came over and he met Michael and they were down there talking. I didn't know who it was. So I went down to use the restroom and he says, I got to meet you. And I said, I'll be right with you. And I came back and met him and he wants to help on the political side, you might say. Nice. He wants to get a city councilman that's passionate about the trades and all. We want to meet. I'm not one that you want in a political arena. You don't want me to go to the administrative area and talk to people because all I'm going to do is piss them off. And I don't mean that. I don't want to.
It's all out of love, baby.
I just spread the love. And here's the issue right now in Charlotte with Put-Tilson schools, and I'm going to tell it like it is. South Charlotte is a cash cow for college. And parents in South Charlotte got lots of money, okay? And they want to see their kid with a degree and successful. Happy isn't on their mind. Happy just isn't there. So how are we going to get in those schools? Happy New Year. That's the goal next year, is to get into South Charlotte high schools. We're going to do it. And maybe this retired principal I met, might help with it. Because these educators, for the most part, do not want their kids to be a plumber or an HVAC technician or an electrician or a grader operator or an excavator operator or a mechanic. I can go on and on. You get the picture. Yep. They don't want that. It's not their life. So anyway.
Why are trades so important? What's the big deal about trades?
Look around you right now. Where you're at right now, look around you. Everything was put there with two hands in mind. Everything, every day. Who takes care of it? Who paints it? Who fixes your electrical? Who keeps you cool, warm? Come on, look around you. Everything in life was put there with two hands in a mind. Either teamwork or singular. Doesn't matter. We can't live without that. And there ain't no robot ever built that's going to displace mankind. Won't happen. Somebody's got to fix the robot. Somebody's got to build a new robot. Somebody's got to program the robot. So 3D printing. Who's going to set the 3D printer up? Printing houses, new construction methodologies. That's advancement in technology that's wow. And I came to one of your events down there. No, it wasn't your event. It was maybe it was. I don't know. I've been to so many through the years where they showed 3D printing. I was blown away.
Yeah, wow. In Florence, when we went out to Florence.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it was. Yeah. Yep. That's wild. I loved it. And I enjoy seeing new technology. But these kids, even at that, most of them don't know it exists. So all I really want is to see kids happy, productive, and enjoying their life.
Amen.
like I do.
So let's shout some other people out. Who else is doing it?
She Built This City has an organization here in town. I'm sure you've heard of She Built This City, doing great things. And there are so many people involved with the initiative of putting the trades back in schools. ER Plumbing's played a big role in getting in here. So many people and many educators. I've worked with this year, being in 10 high schools, I've worked with many educators that want to see this as well and love the program of getting in front of these kids, at least exposing them to life skills. These are not just trade oriented, they're life skills. Most kids don't know what a drill is, never handled a drill, never put an impact driver in their hand. In Charlotte, and I don't get out much. In other words, aloof. But as things progress this past year, I've been to several trade meetings. I say trade meetings, Association ABC of the Carolinas. I was down in Clemson, met Amy Hicks here in Charlotte with ABC and Sarah Brigman. They're doing some great things with their apprenticeship program. IBEW is doing great things. There's a Southeastern Millwright and Carpenters Trust here in town that's union affiliated. Unbelievable. I didn't even know it existed till less than a year ago. And been up there. They're doing great things with kids. And there's a lot of passion there. Without these companies, we can't do it. Now, I got to throw this in here, Adam. My concern up front was keeping industry engaged because everybody's quick to write a check. They'll write you a check. But I need industry to show up at these events. We did one event up at Hopewell High School. 3 companies showed up. 3. As big as Charlotte is, as wealthy as this city is, there's no reason in the world we couldn't fill a gymnasium up with companies. No reason. The reason is, number one excuse. What might that be, Adam?
Too busy?
We're too busy.
Yeah.
You better figure out a way to make it happen, because without industry, and this is a message I'm going to say loud and clear, this will never change. Never, until we change the image of what the trades really are with our kids, our students. It'll never happen. And the only way that'll happen is industry must get involved.
What's the one area of contractor that you're needing help with? Maybe some of our listeners can tune in.
HVAC and plumbing.
Okay.
Electrical. I've had 5 electrical contractors show up at an event. 5.
Nice.
Yeah, amazing. They're great. I've had cosmetology show up. We've had various trades. Plumbers showed up to start with, went into 3 events, and then we kind of lost them. They went by the wayside. These new simulators that simulate many things have come to 1 or 2 events, and we lose them. I don't know. Everybody's busy and got their own agendas, which I understand that. I truly do. And I don't expect these companies to come to every event. We had one HVAC company come to 3 events, and they left, and we never saw them again. I don't know the reasons, if it's they don't like me or what, and I don't know.
I doubt that's it.
But at any rate, we need industry to step up, HVAC and plumbing. Plumbing is tremendous opportunities there. And you know that. I don't have to tell you that. One of your stories is about plumbing, as I recall.
That's how I came in the industry. Yes, sir.
Exactly. The message I said, we got to all parents and everybody, this is about happy. IKIGAI. Finding your purpose, your passion. We need to help kids find their passion, direct them in the pathway that'll get them there. And we can't do that with the business model of education today. It won't work. It's not all about test grades, because some kids don't test well at all. And I understand that. I did okay in school. I was a C average student. And in drafting, I was straight up. Things that I create. If I created something that worked with my hands, I made an A. Art, no sweat, A. And that's getting in touch with that creative person, that creative genius within each individual. And we need to do that. We need to figure out ways to do that. But if we don't show them, like teachers, they teach what they're taught to teach. Teachers are just instruments, and they're told in the Charlotte area what to teach, how to teach, and what to do. A lot of teachers have left, literally left teaching, because they're not at liberty or have the freedom to teach what they believe in, or the methodology in which they believe in. And I talked to one 2 days ago in her kitchen, and she said, I left education because I didn't believe in the way we were treating the kids. And that's another big problem here. This goes deep. Adam, this goes really deep in our culture into many problems like the fatherless, the single mom problem with raising the kids alone. There are no men, no leaders. I can go on and on, but
You're preaching to something that I firmly believe in, that our education system is teaching to test and we're not teaching to think. And that's where we're going
you
wrong.
got that right.
Yeah, if we can teach people to be able to think for themselves. I love how you're saying, like, your message to the world is, let's help people tap into their happy. Let's help them find their reason for being on earth. I love your message. I think it's huge. I gravitate to you for obvious reasons. I'm sure a lot of our listeners will as well. Where else can we find you? I know you said the radio every Saturday morning. How do we find that?
Every Saturday morning, I'm easy to find. You can go to free app. It's Fox Sports Charlotte, right behind me here, right there.
And under you too.
Fox Sports Charlotte, or in your browser, just any browser, foxsportsradiocharlotte.com. That's foxsportsradiocharlotte.com. And you can stream us live, 8 to 11 every Saturday morning. And I'll be honest, the radio show's about many things. Last week, we had a doctor on with her fiance, female doctor, and we were talking about health and wellness and how happy is attached to the marriage problem of today with sex and intimacy and devotion. Now, I know that sounds, people say, oh, no, you didn't. Oh, yes, I did. And because that in itself is a problem. Divorce rate's never been higher. That's part of our children problem. We need parents to help raise these kids and do a better job. So it runs deep. That's all I can say. The radio show does. And I'll talk about put tools in schools, trades, obviously, electrical issues, plumbing, cooling, heating. It's about your house. And a house is nothing without somebody living inside and making it a home. People say, that's not about your house. Everything in your life is about your house. It's about your house, your personal house, your well-being. And I get a little philosophical. I get all kinds of stuff. But 3 hours every Saturday morning.
I love it. I love your passion. It shines through with everything you do. I'm a huge fan, Ray. You let me know how I can support. I'm there for you. Yeah, all love to you, my friend.
Appreciate what you're doing, Adam, and I know you're busy. And anything I can do to help spread messages, the message or whatever. And I need to get more on LinkedIn with more videos and everything. I built this studio where I'm talking to you from now about 2 years ago before the pandemic. And I just sat on hold for two and a half years now and hadn't done anything with it. And I know I need to proceed and do more podcasting and what have you. But as you well know, you moved into podcasting. We had a conversation about this. Everybody's a podcaster.
Yep.
So I took a back seat and just said, oh, the heck with it. It's crazy out there. But thank you for helping me spread the word. It's a networking thing for sure. And we need to connect with each other in that respect.
I'd love to bring some put tools in schools down here to South Carolina. I know our regional workforce advisor, Jay Blankenship with the Department of Commerce. He'll get us into any school that you want. That's an easy, simple phone call.
That's if we get industry to commit to it, plumbing, heating, electrical, and all.
That's our bottleneck is industry. Yeah.
Let me tell you how easy this is, because I believe in the old KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid.
Amen.
And if all you've got to do is show up with tables, chairs, and materials, equipment, tools, safety first, everything you need to engage the kids. You show up at 8 o'clock. I'll tell you where to sit. And if you didn't bring the table and chairs, we'll provide. No problem. But I like to keep it as simple as possible for the school, as well as the people, participants, the companies. Show up at 8 o'clock. We'll run to around 1:30. I'll serve you a little lunch, something to eat, so your belly won't growl. And that's the simplicity of it. Now, I do all the legwork here in Charlotte. In other words, I'll go to the school. I talk to the CDCs and find out what the scope is and how to navigate it. And we just show up, do our thing, leave, and we're done.
Are you connected with McGee Masonry already? Uh-oh.
Absolutely. I could not. I was at their Christmas luncheon last Friday.
They're unbelievable.
400 people were in that building, and it was full of love. And the McGee brothers are at every event we do. Cale Hallman. Cale's going to be on the board of Put Tools in Schools.
Great guy. I just recently met him in the last month.
I saw you did on LinkedIn.
Yeah, he's an incredible human being.
He'll be on the board.
Nice.
Put Tools in Schools.
Amen.
I've done interviews with Cale back 4 years ago before he got into this. They made him the McGee, and I know the whole McGee family and all of them. Matter of
Great
fact, Don
people.
McGee,
Yeah.
76-year-old, still working every day. Great company, great. Let me tell you about the event I
Please.
went to. They have an oyster roast as well. You go down there early around 11:30, and they steam oysters and just dump them on the table. And man, that is, oh.
That
And
sounds
then
so
after
good.
you do that, about 1 o'clock, they serve you lunch: fried flounder, fried shrimp, fried French fries, slaw, all
Mm.
the fixings. And this is their event every year for Christmas to acknowledge people and all that. Great company, great community company. They're so unbelievable. Rodney McGee has been like a brother of mine
Wow.
through the years, and the whole family. They're very supportive of the radio show. Cale will be on the board of directors for Put Tools in Schools. Cale's an awesome individual. Awesome.
Like I said, I'm just now discovering the power of McGee. I was blown away. I saw them at a bunch of the middle school career fairs here in the Greenville area, and they're helping kids put block together and
Yep.
like stirring mortar and slopping it. Oh man, they were doing some activities with the kids, and
Yep.
they're like, man, I'll tell you what, they are the ideal player when it comes to workforce and just everything they stand for as a company with their Christian values and just I think the world of them again. And I've only met them here in the last month or two.
There's a lot of that. The Huntley brothers, Huntley's years ago combined with McGee's and McGee brothers. Just a great organization. But we need more companies like that
Yeah.
to step up and engage. That's one thing I don't worry about. I can always count on Cale unless there's some kind of event that he's already obligated to. But they'll send another person or
Yeah.
two. So
Yeah,
they're always on target with it. Always.
that's what we need. Amen.
Can I talk about one more thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay. And it sounds like I'm being negative again. I don't want to be negative. I just want to hit facts. Okay. For years, I've heard about these new these tractor trailer things they're going to build. I went out last Tuesday and toured one. There's two in North Carolina, and I think you have one in South Carolina.
We do.
And they're buses that are that be proud, be pro, or be pro, be proud. One of the two.
Yep.
I
That's
don't know.
it. Be pro, be proud.
Okay, you've heard of it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I went and toured that facility on wheels. To me, it's a mobile video game. But now there are many stations in this trailer. Many. They're all virtual. They're all AI. They're all with headsets, handheld devices that interact with the computer program, of course. And it's got plumbing, electrical. There's a welder. There's all these things in it. Now, that's all well and good. That's all well and good. But there's no tools on the trailer. No drills. There's no screwdrivers. There's no channel locks. You get the picture. There's no measuring tapes. And by the way, the vast majority of our kids in high school, I didn't tell you this, but I got to go back a little. The vast majority, like 80 to 90%, cannot read a tape measure. Cannot read a tape measure. Okay, back to the trailer. So I left there and I have to process it. And to me, here's another example of industry throwing money at something. $2.5 million for this program, for this tractor trailer rig. It's beautiful. Top drawer, first class, technology, unbelievable. But there's no tools on the trailer.
Yeah. Does it actually give you a real simulation? If you're not touching tools, if you're in the air conditioning, if all of these things, you're not really feeling what it's like.
No, it's only doing what the kids know, video games.
Yeah.
Now, I admit it's an engagement. I admit that. But is it actual? Is it real? No, it's totally AI. And that's disappointing to me because there's no engagement, hands-on tools.
It can only take you so far.
I know. Now, awareness, is it raising it? Maybe. I don't know. I'm 70. I'm not 16. So I don't know how engaging it is. And these things right here, there's another problem we've got to face as adults. It's a problem. Believe me, when I go talk to 4,000 kids and I'm sitting there talking to them, they're over there. And I tell them, put the phones up. Emphatically. Put the phones up. I can put mine up. You can put yours up. We've got our work cut out for us to raise the awareness, spread some love, give these kids, talk to these children, engage the kids, find out what they're really feeling. Yeah. That's my advice for everybody. It's not about what you think. You parents out there, don't hurt your kids. They're your kids. You can do what you want. I have no right. But I'm going to tell you something. You need to talk to them and communicate them, and not about your desire. Not about your desire, about what makes them happy. And we got to find happy. We got to find their IKIGAI, their passion, their purpose. And once we tap into that, the rest will take care of itself.
And that takes some good, serious questioning, right? Some well thought out questioning. And how are we going to inspire them? And then introducing them to different things. It takes effort.
I've asked this question to many high school students. Are you aware that you can graduate high school on a Wednesday and go to work the following Monday, making between $15 and $20 an hour entry level? And that company will teach you how to be the best you can be at that trade. And it won't
pay for your upskills.
I said, it won't cost you a dime. They'll pay for the education. And many kids look at me, really? That's a fact. I had no idea. I didn't know that existed. Now, Star Electric, they're one of the premier.
Star. I've done a lot of work with Star Electric.
Okay, Star here in Charlotte show up at every event. Jeremy Johnson, great. Awesome. They're just doing an incredible job. Kevin Tice, they've just jumped on board with unbelievable enthusiasm and support. Okay. They're getting calls from parents now because of these Put Tools in Schools Trades Day, and students inquiring about an apprenticeship program. And one mother in particular, Jeremy, shared the story, and we posted this on LinkedIn or Facebook. And Jeremy says she called and she wanted to know about the program. And she says that, yeah, they can get a job right out of high school, making between $15 and $20 an hour starting out. 90 days, they get a raise if they're worthy. Okay. And then we'll move them into an apprenticeship program to where we pay for their schooling to be a certified journeyman electrician. And the parent says, that's wonderful. That's awesome. Had no idea. What's the catch? What's the catch? Jeremy says, what do you mean, what's the catch? You mean that's it? Now I'm going to insist. Now here's the parent again. I'm going to insist that he go. Oh, okay. Now you're here we go again. But the point is, we've got to find those programs, and they're there. They're there. But parents are totally unaware. There again, raising awareness. Yep. And that's my goal, just to keep raising awareness, keep spreading love, and we'll see where it takes us.
It's taken us far already. You've been in front of 4,000 to 5,000 students last year. What's your goal this next year?
We 10 down, 20 to go. Just getting.
You're going to hit every.
Raised awareness is the goal. Just keep on keeping on. And our goals for next year is to develop a board of directors and leaders in the organization to get in front of as many high school students as possible this next school up until end of May, 1st of June, when school ends. And then the next year, and if Charlotte Mecklenburg can't provide the schools this coming year, we've agreed that we'll go outside to other counties. Because I focus this first year on Charlotte Mecklenburg because they're in dire straits as far as career and knowledge of the pathways. And plus, with over 80,000 jobs available right now, right here in this county in the trades, those opportunities are here right now for kids graduating from high school to jump right into. So I said, what the heck, let's make that available. And it's working. McGee Brothers, for example, they've gotten 4 to 10 employees off this initiative.
Nice.
Since we started. BB Mechanical here in Charlotte got 4 employees from this initiative 2 years ago. Nice. So it's working.
Amen.
Slowly but surely, it's working. And that's the whole goal, is just to raise awareness, spread some more love.
I'm sure you're a major reason on why it's working. I see you everywhere doing things. I love your updates. I'm going to do what I can to get more folks involved. I think I've got a slew of contacts. In fact, I know I've got a slew of folks up in the Charlotte area that are worth touching base with. Yeah.
Easily accessible. You can.
Not hard to find.
Ray Terry, Charlotte, North Carolina. Google it. It's all there. You can go to aboutyourhouseradio.com. On the homepage, my cell number is right to the left up there. My cell number right here. You can call me now. And another thing about me, I answer my phone unless I'm in a meeting. and then I'll call you right back. I answer my phone because, frankly, we don't talk enough. There's another major problem in our culture. We do not communicate worth a damn. And I'm sorry to tell you folks, you got to do better. Emails and texts don't always cut it. There's a cutoff point where dialogue is so much better than typing. But teachers on. And being an old fogey here, old school, some of this I don't fit well with because I'm old school, and I get that. But I'm working on it. I try to be patient and understanding, but some of it I don't, and I can't. So I just do the best I can.
You are appreciated. I value you. I hold you on a platform in my life. I love what you're doing. I'm a super fan. And again, I love to see it, man. Thank you for doing a thankless job.
Thank you. Oh, and one more thing. I ain't getting paid nothing for this. I ain't on no payroll. This is for the love of the kids and our tomorrow in the industry. Because you know what? Our infrastructure is falling apart. And if we don't get people to fix it, we're in trouble.
It's a labor of love.
Yes, it's a labor of devotion to our kids of tomorrow. And another thing, too, I just had a grandchild a year ago. He was a year old Halloween. And that's changed my perspective tremendously on the future for me, because I see that young man, young small boy, and with his last name being Terry, I'm going to do everything I can to motivate him in the direction that gives him happiness. And not about me, though. It's about him.
Amen.
So there you go.
Find your happy with Mr. Ray Terry. I love it.
Find you happy. And that's adults too. If you're an adult and you're going to a job, I don't even like that word job. If you're going to work, a job, work job, whatever you want to call it. If you're going somewhere and you're not liking and loving your job, then quit. Go find something that makes you happy. I know we all need money. I get that. Money is a major stress factor in our world, and that's all been orchestrated, by the way. However, if you're not happy, you'll never earn what you want. Never. It's just a law of the universe. It's a God-given law. Happy will give you what you want. Now, so we've got to find the happy. And if you're an adult and you're doing a job that makes you miserable, by gosh, quit. Find something. And if you need help, call me. We'll figure it out. Because you can figure it out. But when you get in the bucket and you can't get out, the hole gets deep, it's tough. I get that. It's like being homeless.
Yep.
Once you get there, it's tough to get out. But we got to work with each other. And there's a way, if you're willing to do your part. And there's another part of this thing. It takes two. It takes a village, actually. But we were put on this earth to love, share, and work together for the well-being of humanity. That's our true purpose in life. Take all this other crap away, and you're still going to have people and life, and the sun will come up tomorrow. And we can do it together. This is a we thing. Appreciate you, Adam. Thank you. It's been a great pleasure meeting you and people like you. And you're an ambassador as well, and I appreciate all you're doing.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Ray. You are always a blast to have on. I completely enjoyed the episode, and I'm going to have a ton of fun editing this as well.
Great. We need industry, and it's a we thing. Like I say, I'm in Charlotte, and I can only speak for this area. But if you're in a metro area, this doesn't have to be difficult. We can do this.
We can put tools in schools, baby.
Put tools back in schools. Let them kids feel them, taste them, smell it, whatever. Wear that bit out. Drill another hole, whatever it takes.